ready for this one. But anyways, let's go.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. Hello and welcome back to the channel, boys and girls, ladies, gentlemen, people of all ages. I will start off with this. You cannot be a Manchester United fan if you did not enjoy that. Whether you Ollie in, Ollie out, Ollie unsure, that game, I mean, if that doesn't put a smile on your face and you call yourself as a United fan, then I think you need to reconsider your club because, yeah, I'll put my hands up. I seen that lineup initially. I seen the own goal happen, and I was ready. I was on the drinks early. I was ready. I'm like, this is it. This is how it's gonna go down. I didn't want it to come to this, but Ollie, it's just, and then once again, Ollie into a corner, and then out of nowhere, RKO out of nowhere. Majority of the fan base, and then I just couldn't fault the boys for the passion. But yeah, we will be discussing the Newcastle game anyway. So if you're interested, please, and you are new, please consider subscribing, smashing a like, because that game was it was truly something. In the bigger picture, it's just Newcastle, but that game is very important, and I think you just could just watch and enjoy it. So yeah, gentlemen, let's get into it. Initial thoughts. Obviously, Ollie's lineup was a bit I don't know what it was. I was not expecting that type of lineup. I was very skeptical about it initially. So yeah, I mean, all praise to Ollie. He pulled it off.
Yeah, I think. Reti, do you want to go first, or should I?
You can go first, man.
Okay. Well, I mean, when I first saw the lineup, the only thing that really frustrated me was the fact that Harry Maguire still played. Alas, he proved me wrong. So whatever, it is what it is, bro. Like I'm like I win as a Manchester United fan. If Harry Maguire proves me wrong, I win. If Harry Maguire plays badly, then that's a situation I don't want. So I'm glad he played well. But I'm gonna say that first, from the moment I saw the team sheet, right, I was very upset. But then I caught myself and I was like, hang on a minute, isn't this exactly what I wanted? Not in terms of personnel, but like I told a Spurs fan who was in my DMs and being a massive pet peeve, you know who you are, massive fraud. Pet peeve in my DMs. I told him that I think we will beat Newcastle either way, regardless of the lineup. But this lineup is one that I prefer over our strongest lineup because our strongest lineup got battered by Crystal Palace. Our strongest lineup got battered by Spurs. And our strongest lineup nearly lost to Brighton. So I don't care who played today. If it was Igalo, if it was James, you make sure half of that team that played against Spurs does not start tonight to send a message to that dressing room. And look, Harry Maguire, it is what it is. Apparently, he's the kind of guy who loves playing himself through bad form. I'm hearing a lot of positive things about his mentality. So it must be true. What I can say is that I don't personally agree with it, but it worked out in the end. With Pogba, with Matic, I don't know what happened with Greenwood, so I'm not going to comment there. Obviously, Martial wasn't available. With everyone else who played in that team, right? Even Eric Bailly, I'm not exactly sure if they're the kind of player you want to keep playing and wait for them to play themselves out of form. I think they're more the player you say, okay, take some time off, come back when you're ready, or come off the bench for the last 15 minutes and try and make an impact. But at the moment, you're not fit and you're not in the right form to play for us and give us what we want. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. I was surprised to see Shaw starting ahead of Telles, I won't lie, but it is what it is, dude. And for me, the result was more important than my opinion of the team sheet. So, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with pretty much everything Marcus says. It was an amazing game. I think one might say 4-1 flattered us a little bit, but it was very enjoyable. Like, when I saw the lineup, I wasn't as angry as most of the fan base. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, something has to change.
Can I just point it out? I was confused. I had mixed emotions. Sorry for interrupting you, but I had mixed emotions. I wasn't just angry. I was just confused. I was like, okay, you drop one person, but you play the other one. You keep Marcus Rashford in, but Mason Greenwood's not there. I was just confused. Dan James wasn't even on the bench against Spurs, but he's starting today. So I didn't know what to think.
I have to agree with that. I'll say I was surprised at the lineup. And as you said with Maguire, like that one I didn't understand because you're dropping people like Pogba, but Maguire starting. I didn't get that. But as you say, good thing it worked out in the end. So I was happy with the changes because you can't lose 6-1 and play the same team again. That's a no-no. So I was happy with that. And when I saw the team, like I realized two things, or more so one thing actually, that we will hold the ball better, and we might not play as many forward passes. We will hold the ball better. It can be a positive and a negative, because it can be a positive in the sense that we won't lose the ball on the turnover as much as we do, and end up conceding on the counter, which we do a lot, and Pogba is culprit of it a lot. But it can be I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say.
It can be a negative, because then we're perhaps not as creative going forward, and we're too conservative. Is that what we do? That's one thing I would say.
Actually, so yeah, I think that's exactly what I was going to say. She's my life. I just blanked there. But it wasn't like that, thankfully. I think we were very, very critical. And in the second half, I think we really saw what a good counter-attacking team Manchester United can be. Because as soon as I think Bruno scored, it was this Newcastle started to open up and started playing on the counter, and we destroyed them really. So it was an enjoyable game, and sure was a bit unlucky, to be honest. Like, it happens. So yeah.
It always is.
When I seen that Shaw goal coming in, and I was, like I said, I was in the emotions. I seen the lineup. I was like, this basically sums up Manchester United at the start of the season. But yeah, I'm glad we turned it around. Like I said, I don't believe you're a true United fan if you're not excited after that, and if you're just not happy with it. So it was pretty hard not to be happy about the way things turned out.
I'm gassed, fam. I'm
super.
I'm unbelievably gassed.
I can't remember when was the last I was happy about the United performance like this.
I mean, I can remember 2 months ago when we beat Leicester, fam. Then we did. Lingard scored that goal to get us third. I was probably happier than I am now, but I'm gassed. This is different. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I think there's a small part of me that wants to carry on with this shape, and I know it probably won't happen. And no, I do think the lot are going to come back in, because they're in the counter and playing Pogba and Matic. I do think Matic has been rested. I don't think he was dropped, and I do think those will fit that game to play on the counter. But there's a small part of me that doesn't want to maybe keep all the players who played, but maybe keep the shape and play more two natural CDMs in Matic and Fred maybe, and drop Pogba, because personally I feel like this Pogba thing hasn't really worked. We've tried and it just doesn't work. And having him off the bench can be a good thing. But
that's where I partially.
Yeah.
Go on.
I rather we get that out of him, and at the end of the season we sell him, to be honest, because. Yeah, and what I don't want is what Shinny and Clayton were suggesting, is playing a 5 at the back or playing a diamond. I'd rather us play 2 central defensive mids who can do the job, and they protect the back line.
Yeah, I don't know if this is exactly a topic for match reaction, but I think with the whole Pogba situation, right, what I saw today was exactly what I was talking about to you in the DMs. When you were saying, I don't know if it was like 2 weeks ago, just after we lost to Spurs, the day after we lost to Spurs, I literally sent Rita a message saying, you know what, I've calmed down. I don't trust the board. I don't trust Edward Wood. But you know what? I trust the 11 players in the red shirt, and I trust Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If he goes back to what he was doing so well when he turned things around, and to put it mildly, if he stops this attacking football crap and pushing the fullbacks up and just goes back to being compact, being disciplined on defense, and hitting teams on the break, he could actually save his job. And when people hear that, they're like, oh, but that's negative. And I'm like, yeah, but it can be a positive thing. Just because your philosophy is hitting teams on the break doesn't mean you have to play the exact same way every single game. It's not that black and white. So you can't sit back against Newcastle because they're not going to hold the ball. They're trying to do exactly what you're doing. So naturally, you have to hold the ball a bit more than they do. And you will naturally dominate because we're Manchester United when we just have better players. That's just the way it is. But against teams like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, any big teams, PSG potentially in the Champions League, I think this shape is definitely something we need to keep. The problem is, for me, is, again, that all or nothing mentality. I don't want to see Pogba get dropped now and never played. No. Drop him when he's not playing well, and when he's doing well in the training ground and he's rearing to go, give him a chance. Because one thing I didn't like about today's starting 11 is, look, the risk paid off, so well done, Ollie, but it was very radical. And it was typical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is the biggest game in my Manchester United career. I'm going to play Dan James, who's at 0 game time.
I'm telling you, Potter's working. He was on his way. He was walking. He took the bus. He was ready to sign the contract. And then Oli was like,
you know what I mean? So I don't like this all or nothing mentality, you know. And yes, maybe Pogba doesn't have the qualities to play as a CDM, so I understand that. But let's not just play Fred and McTominay or Fred and Matic or McTominay and Matic every single game now. Let's try and find a way to fit Pogba into the team when the time is appropriate. Don't just, when things go wrong, now all of a sudden slot Pogba back in, put Van der Beek and play some new shape we haven't seen in the last 3 months, you know. That's what I'm against. You know, so I just want to see some consistency in the team. It's basically.
Personally, going forward, I'd like to see the two of Fred and Matic play there. Also, see Van der Beek come in, because I won't lie to you, a huge part of me is down to Pogba, because I just feel like it just hasn't worked out, and we keep trying and we just keep going backwards. So I'd rather we try. Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think when Paul Pogba plays at Manchester United, and I don't hear people talk about this enough, right? When you look at this myth that Paul Pogba plays as a 10, you know, it's obviously a myth because he won a World Cup with France by playing as a deep midfielder, and he got his best season at Juventus by playing as a box-to-box, deep-sided midfielder. So I don't know when Pogba's played a 10 in his career, but I think if you compare his form when he plays for France, and you compare, and a direct comparison to Manchester United, yes, we don't play the exact same system, we don't play the exact same shape, but they're very similar. I think when you've got N'Golo Kante next to you, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be a lot more fluid. And also international football is a lot slower and teams won't press as high, so you've got enough space. I mean, Paul Pogba's best attributes is long-range diagonal passes. He's one of the best in the world at that. And his creativity from deep is what sets him apart from any midfielder in world football, right? But when you couple that with the center defensive midfielder, who's good, you know, he does what he does, but he's not quick, he's not agile, he doesn't move the ball as quickly, and he doesn't really synergize with you because Matic and Pogba fundamentally are two very different players. Matic is far more conservative. Matic would rather take 6 or 7 touches before letting the ball go because he wants to look after it, right? I think that's the problem. They don't really fit very well. So if Pogba is to play as a two-sided midfielder, we need a new CDM, and that's not going to happen, obviously.
And on top of that, France, he's got Varane and Laporte behind him.
So that's true.
He's very well protected.
That's true. That's actually true. You know, I don't know what I was going to say beyond the buts. That's actually very true. I've never thought of that. But I don't like to use that scapegoat too much because it's not Pogba's fault, you know, that he's got Maguire and Lindelof behind him, you know.
I know. What I'm trying to say is,
but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Now, obviously having Varane behind you is a lot better. I don't know. I think it's interesting with Paul Pogba. Shawnee, what do you think? Have you changed at all? Or are you still living up to so far up the Frenchman's ass that you can see what he had for breakfast this morning?
I can confirm that Paul Pogba is now my second favorite Manchester United player because, I mean, Bruno is just he's Jesus himself.
My boy got a demotion.
Yeah, he got a demotion. I mean, Bruno lives and breathes Manchester United. And like I said, Paul Pogba has tried everything. I love Paul Pogba. He walks into any team of mine in the world, but he's not the same. Yeah, he changed the game. But yeah, I still wouldn't drop Paul Pogba. I still have complete faith. I think Paul Pogba still needs the talking to, and I still do think he needs to kind of kick up his ass to, like, you know, say you're not bigger than the team. So yeah, I still think
so take him out. Take him out of the team for a few games, but don't just drop him for the whole season now and use him exclusively as a bench.
Like, the thing is, I feel like we suffer a lot on the turnover ball, and the amount of space we leave when we're not off the ball is ridiculous as well. With Paul Pogba, the amount of time he loses the ball in that deep area, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it plays a very big part to us conceding so much on the counter. I feel like as much as McTominay wasn't great today, I feel like I didn't see that today. I feel like the back line was a bit more protected. Yes, Newcastle wasn't amazing. We'll say that as well. But I feel like playing with Bruno in the 10 and having maybe a Matic and a Fred behind him, I feel like the midfield will be so much more secure. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I was going to say that for me today, especially today, and not just today, the last few games, there's 3 players knocking on the door to get in this team. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how it is, but for me, he's got to make difficult decisions. It's for me. 3 players have to get in this team: is Mata, Van der Beek, and Fred. Those 3 for me are just. I don't know how Oli can do it, but you need to get them in the team.
I mean, you know, this is going to be weird, but you know, I was playing F1 career mode, and I was thinking in the back of my head, what is McTominay, and why do I rate McTominay so much? Because from everything everybody's saying, this guy's pretty crap. And then I watched him today, and I was like, it's the Matic effect. Yes, he's not as good as Matic, but it's the Matic effect. the positional awareness of Scott McTominay and what he does in defense, people don't realize it. And I wish, I had a full body camera to demonstrate this, but where you stand on the pitch as a center defensive midfielder, forget your ability to tackle, forget your physicality, forget your one-on-one duels, just where you stand. It allows, or it encourages the attacker to explore different options. If an attacker's barreling down the middle of the pitch, right, but you've got Matic sitting right there and Maguire and Lindelof next to him, obviously because Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are out of position, he's going to choose to go either left or right rather than down the middle. The positional, just by being there, not even doing anything, just sitting and being there, you're already deterring people from going straight down the middle and piercing us through that weak centre-back partnership, as we know, that has no pace. And I think McTominay does that really well because he doesn't do anything going forward, so he's always just sitting back. And it's very difficult for teams to break us down unless they have the quality of a Man City and a Liverpool, in which case you can just run circles around McTominay. Yeah. But Newcastle don't, right? So they're not just going to run past any of us.
Like I still think, despite the result today, if you pick that team against higher quality, we're getting chopped. You're going to get chopped.
That's true.
Look, I hear you with McTominay, and I can see that, but I feel like besides that, he was a bit redundant today. I won't lie to you. But I hear your point.
Yeah. The thing is with McTominay, what I want people to realize is I don't rate him right now as a finished product. I rate him as somebody for the future, as opposed to Fred, Fred is not somebody for the future. This is Fred. This is him. This is what his whole career has been building up to. And I think Fred can do the Herrera role perfectly. And sometimes I question whether or not he's better than Pogba, because not as a footballer. Obviously, Pogba's way better, miles ahead of Fred, right? But I question whether or not Fred fits more into our system than Pogba, because, I don't want to use the word lazy because it's stereotypically very, it's a sensitive word to use around African players or players with darker skin, obviously. But I do feel like Pogba sometimes, there's just simple things that he could be doing and he just doesn't do them.
For me, the thing is, like, as a big Paul Pogba fan, when I seen him at Juventus and I seen him at France, or this amazing Paul Pogba that we've seen, it just looks like he's just not motivated enough to play for United.
Exactly.
It looks like his time is
doesn't want to go the extra mile. Yeah, I think part of that is Paul Pogba just the kind of player you have to build a team around. You can't really say, Pogba, listen, mate, I understand you just won the World Cup and everything.
Yeah.
This is what
you could argue the point, like I said. Yeah. If you did get Jadon Sancho, and you did get Upamecano, and now Paul Pogba's happy, because we've seen when Bruno came in, and we had a happy Paul Pogba.
Exactly,
there was an insane, consistent Paul Pogba. But now the board isn't back, the manager, the team is just doing not well, and Pogba's back in that mindset.
Yeah, I will say this to give Pogba, kind of, because I've been so negative towards him. I think Pogba will do better in the bigger games. I do. Because, yes, people might say, what do you mean? Don't we need more defensive protection against the bigger teams? Well, the bigger teams are going to score anyways. We can sit and park the bus all we want. They're going to score anyways. So I think Pogba is definitely much, much better against a Man City, against a Liverpool. Because he can play over the top.
Yes, he's very effective. Very effective on the counter.
Yeah, and like I said, if you get Paul Pogba on his day, we're winning that game.
Exactly. So, I don't want to see Pogba get thrown out the team. I want to see him play in the big games, and then maybe in the Carabao Cup games, in the FA Cup games, and the one-off Premier League games, we don't play him and we just try different things. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But don't just go leaning to one side,
Look, if there was a perfect world where we could play maybe Fred in the smaller games and play Pogba in the big games and somehow not to stabilize the team, that'd be perfect. But that's not really realistic. To be honest, I think Paul Pogba is more of an 8 or box to box. I don't think he's a 6 in anyhow. So that's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to solve.
Yeah, but I mean, Ollie's got to grow up here and be like, mate, it's either you play a handful of games or you don't play at all. Your choice. But I'm picking Fred. He fits better in my system. End of story. Paul Pogba's going to play because he realizes that he needs to get selected for France. He's a professional. Whatever you think of Paul Pogba's attitude, subconsciously, I don't think he wants to be at Manchester United. But consciously speaking, Paul Pogba was not just going to show up to training and be like, screw this, man, and just throw his boots at the...
I mean, he still has to work for his Real Madrid move.
Yeah. So, exactly, he needs to work for his Real Madrid move as well. Real Madrid are not just going to pay 100 mil in this climate for a player who hasn't played well in nearly 2 seasons, consistently. So, that's my opinion on Paul Pogba. But... I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation for another show, entirely, to be honest.
Might as well. We'll do a PSG one soon, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the Newcastle game. The Newcastle game. I want to rewatch it. I do feel like
Yeah.
the Luke Shaw thing was very unfortunate though, so I don't really blame them. But like even during like before halftime and stuff, I was like, you know what, I can't not applaud the boys. They're giving everything. You know, they are trying. They literally are trying. So I
It was
I
a
really,
classic
really
United
glad.
performance.
Yeah,
We have to go down to go forward.
yeah.
It's just the way
It's
we
never
are.
easy with United. Yeah, it's never.
You know what's
Never.
the thing with the team all picked? Not very talented, but they're always going to put in a shift. All those players, especially the midfield, McTominay, Fred,
Yeah,
Bruno, they were always give 100%. So I feel like when you're in a crisis, you rather have those players than all the flair players that are not reliable.
Yeah.
Can I just say also that Mata and Dan James, this is going to be a controversial thing to say, and Marcus Rashford is one of my favorite players, so I don't even know why I'm going down this road. Mata and Dan James are the closest thing we have to specialist right wingers in this team. What do I mean by that? I think in terms of what a traditional right winger does, those are the closest players that we have, you know, because if we were playing Mason and Marcus Rashford on the wings, they would have been so selfish. And I know James took a few, you know, shots here and there that he shouldn't have taken, but I think if he can improve that part of his game, he could be a winger that we could use in these kinds of games, because if he can just learn to stop keeping your head down and running and barreling at the goals and just look up for a second and realize, hey, there's a ball over there. Let me just try and cross it. Even if your crossing is not perfect, you don't have to get. If Dan James gets 3 out of 10 good crosses a game, magnificent, because one of them could land on someone's head, and that's a goal. You know, whereas Rashford and Greenwood would have just been like, "Nah, fuck you, dude. I've got 20 goals. Watch this finesse curler, because I've been playing FIFA all my career.
Yeah.
And this has been my dream."
I honestly thought that was James' best game in months.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was James' best game.
That's telling though, like, because some of the shots he took, man. And I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying,
But at least
you know,
today,
James was good.
Yeah. But today I feel like he was more successful with his dribbling. You know, the passing and decision making and the football IQ is just, it's on a low. He still needs to get that, but at least the dribbles were way better. It wasn't just straight line, no organic dribbling.
Yeah, my heart dropped when I saw him in that left wing position, because I was like, no, Oli.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like I said, as soon as I seen that lineup, I'm like, Oli, what are you doing? You want to get fired? That's what I was asking. I'm like, you want to get fired? Just tell me now. Tell us now. Listen, guys, it's been a nice round.
Just come out in the press conference and be like, guys, listen, I surrender. This is me protesting.
Like, this is literally me trying to spy myself.
The scariest thing for me was one McTominay, James, and Rashford through the middle. Considering he went through the middle in this very game. In this very game last season, he was trash. So that was very scary for me.
Yeah, I didn't even notice he was in the team. You know that. I was like, wait, where's Rashford? And then when I saw him down the middle, I was like, oh my God. Because I don't expect Rashford to play down the middle. So I was like, if Rashford is not in the left wing, then obviously he's not in the team. So this guy's played Dan James and Matt. And then I'm thinking, so who's the number 9? And then I look and it's Rashford. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I was even more confused than I was before, because I was like, wait, so that's not Greenwood. So where's Greenwood now?
Yeah.
Every time, you know, that's the thing about this lineup. It really confused me.
Yeah.
But
all ahead of some other curveball.
Yeah, I think I will give Oli this. The fact that he dropped Pogba, the fact that he dropped Matic, whatever reason he didn't play Greenwood, it is what it is, and he couldn't play Martial anyways. The fact that he dropped it was definitely a risk, but it shows that he's
rest. I think he's resting Matic and Greenwood for the PSG game.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. But, I mean, you'd think, based on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's patterns in the past, he typically doesn't like resting players. When his job is on the line, he will run you into the ground, fam. I don't care if you've got
everyone besides Greenwood. I think everybody besides Greenwood.
Yeah, everyone besides Greenwood. That's true. You know, I don't care if you got bloody cancer, fam. You get a penicillin in and you play.
Yeah, especially Maguire. I think all in the press conference they asked him about the team, they asked him so there was lots of speculation about Maguire getting dropped, and it was like, was there any doubt? And he was like, no. If he's slightly fit, he's playing. And I was like, yeah, that's all. But it paid off. Credit to him, because I tell you what, that game went sideways, and that own goal, and that's how it ended. That own goal, 1-0 to Newcastle. Oh my God, this show was toxic. I was ready. I got all the ammunition. I was writing down my manager list, my wishes that I want from the next manager. Poch was there, you're signing the contract. I was ready to repeat the next 2-year cycle, and then the next one.
There's articles floating around that apparently he wants a sporting director if he comes as well. There's obviously no credibility to them yet, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, no, look, on the topic of Maguire, I think it's an interesting talking point. You know, I think it's one that we can delve into. I think, look, as football fans, we're very emotional. And when your team is playing and they go 1-0 down the first 5 minutes,
I was depressed.
it's all
I was
lost.
going to become alcoholic.
Yeah, but in hindsight, when I think about it, and I, even though I personally don't agree with it, you know, if I was manager of Manchester United, Harry Maguire would have never been my captain to begin with. He is the captain. He has been the captain for a season. So look, can you really drop your captain? What does that do to the morale of the team? What does that do to your captain himself in terms of confidence? You obviously know him better than most of us do because you clearly like the guy and you clearly see something in him that most of us don't see. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in a difficult position with Harry Maguire. When you couple that with the fact that the British media would have gone crazy if he dropped Maguire because you know they love him, fam. The British media love Maguire compared to everyone else. When Maguire has a bad game, it's mental health. When Pickford has a bad game, he's just a shit keeper. When Pogba has a bad game, he's just lazy. But when Maguire has a bad season, it's mental health. It's mental. It's 100% mental health. We all know.
Martial is the real striker, but Harry Kane is
yeah,
the best.
Martial's a con. When Martial plays well, he's a con. When Harry Maguire plays well, it's I told you, Harry Beckenbauer. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was kind of, I won't call him a genius because everyone's a genius in hindsight, but I think he was very clever today because he realized that, okay, I can drop Pogba, and most of our fans don't like him anyways. You know, it is what it is. I can drop all these other players, but Maguire, I can't because he's my captain. So, yeah. He wouldn't be my captain, but I respect it.
He's not my captain. I put my hand up. He's not my captain. My captain, he clutched up the game today. That's my captain.
Yeah.
And my captain clutched up.
Yeah, look, I don't think he had an amazing game, but I think it was an improvement. It was better. And like the ex-players were saying in the preview, that some players tend to prefer to be there and prove the point and prove them wrong instead of being home and having to work through it that way. So yeah, if it works for him, but I am still worried for what he will show against PSG, honestly.
We'll deal with that when we get to, let's just enjoy the moment. I don't get to enjoy many moments.
But you know what I don't like about that? You know what I don't like about that sort of thinking, right? It basically says my relationship with this player and my belief in this player is more important than the team's success. Now, listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might have very well done it because he thought it was best for the team, but it can come across that way, especially in Southgate's case, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't the only one who has a poster of Harry Maguire in his office. Southgate has one too, and he has one in his bedroom as well. You know, he can't. The thought of dropping Maguire sends tingles down Southgate's spine. You know, it's just impossible. It makes him shiver. So, I think for me, on the one hand, it's admirable when it works out. But on the other hand, it's just luck, isn't it? You're just sticking by this player, hoping that he pulls through. And I hate that. He's bigger than the team.
Yeah, because like on evidence, we would never say Maguire was going to score a header today. We've waited a whole year and a half for that goal. And all of a sudden, when everything's on the line, all his jobs on the line, your reputation is on the line, you pull it off. All of a sudden.
Classic United.
Classic United, but yeah,
it's literally classic United. But yeah, maybe we can get into the player ratings and we'll probably discuss the players more in depth with that. So,
De Gea saved the penalty today. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, De Gea, oh my
God.
Well, not a penalty. It was that was.
Oh, not a penalty.
That save,
not a penalty.
That save was harder than a penalty, I would say, because that was it. That was the goal. I don't know how he saved that. Even the St. Maximum volley where he literally clattered into the post. I did mention in the preview, I told Malota and Clayton that he was with his old goalkeeping coach. And did it do anything? Wow. Yeah. Wow. You know, something clicked. And that's, is it Dean Henderson just keeping him up on his toes, keeping him more sharp? Wow. In hindsight, this is the David De Gea we all know and love. This is what we want David De Gea to do. This is what we believe David De Gea is still capable of doing it. He proved it. He could have, on another day, David De Gea is our man of the match. But I think he was insane today, so I'm giving David De Gea 8. Yeah, definitely. He saved us a lot. Literally saved us.
Yeah, I think he's a magnificent goalkeeper. I don't usually give player ratings, but since I'm not the host this time, I'll give him an 8 out of 10 as well, on the premise that I think David De Gea has come under a lot of scrutiny. David De Gea is one of those players at Manchester United that becomes a scapegoat for everything. Basically, we put him under a microscope, and every little thing he does wrong, we say this is exactly why he shouldn't be the number one goalkeeper. Forget the 3 amazing seasons he had and the seasons where he kept us relevant. Forget the fact that he actually plays well for Spain, genuinely has for the last 2 or 3 international breaks. No. For Manchester United, he's just not the same keeper anymore. He's lost it all. I think he's still a magnificent goalkeeper. And look, if Henderson plays, whatever. I'm not an enemy of Henderson. I really couldn't care less. But I obviously love David De Gea, and I love to see my boy flourishing. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Look, I feel like those are the type of saves he makes, though. I feel like he's been making those type of saves. Maybe less frequent, but he still makes them. I feel like the things he struggles with are simple things. So yeah, I wouldn't say he turned the leaf there, but he did a very good game. We have to give credit where it's due, and I'm gonna give him 7.5.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. There was no huge mistake from De Gea. He clutched up today big time, and yeah, that's a good performance. Hopefully, he keeps it up. Like I said, I'm not an enemy of Dean Henderson. I like Dean Henderson a lot. He is our future goalkeeper. So yeah, it is what it is for now, and yeah, hopefully De Gea can keep it up. Left back, obviously Luke Shaw, surprise feature for many, or lots of people probably thought Tellers would play. His start was very shocking, very unfortunate, But, I'll speak with Shaw and I'll relate to Wan-Bissaka, but we'll get to Wan-Bissaka. But I'm so happy today because I felt like today, I spoke about it in the last, I think, reaction and preview. It was about our fullbacks being so high, and then also when we defending, they're right by the centre backs. Today, they stayed wide. They always stayed wide, and that's when they were the best, and that's when defensively we were the most sound. So I'm happy with that. I think Luke Shaw on another day that never goes, and that goal was ridiculous. It just basically summed up United's how can I say this, form and just luck. So, but I don't really fault Luke Shaw for that. I thought he was very good. I thought his dribbling going forward today was good. Defending wasn't bad. So I'm gonna give Luke Shaw a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that goal was very symbolic of Manchester United's patterns in the last few years. We have to always make it difficult for ourselves. I think that Luke Shaw is somebody who definitely keeps proving the haters wrong, and the haters are going to keep hating regardless. I think, what does this guy have to do? What does this guy... Harry Maguire could stab the ref and burn a football field before his fans turn their back on him. But with Luke Shaw, he does the smallest thing wrong, and all of a sudden he's a scapegoat, and it's amazing, And I think the abuse he gets and the jokes about his weight and him going to McDonald's rather than Carrington is absolutely disgusting. It's body shaming for one, but for two, it's just abusive because it's taking your disliking of a player out of the game, and I really don't like that. So, for me, I have to give this guy a 7 because despite all the things, one of his colleagues is struggling with mental health apparently. Despite all the reasons he has to struggle with mental health, he keeps proving people wrong time and time again.
And he even says he doesn't mind new faces. He doesn't mind having competition at left back. So exactly. He's a proper professional, Luke Shaw.
He's got the mentality for a Manchester United player. And look, is Telles better? Going forward, 100%. Defensively, we haven't seen Telles in the Premier League, so let's wait and see. But if Luke Shaw doesn't get dropped and he continues to play at the level he's playing, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I would love to see Alex Telles, but I like me some Luke Shaw as well, so 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the system was slightly different today. I feel like a lot of the time over the past few weeks and months, we try to play like Liverpool. We try to throw everything, but we just don't have the structure on the ball and off the ball to do that. So I feel like today was slightly more calculated, and the fullbacks did play a little bit deeper. And yeah, he made a mistake. You can't really blame him for that today. That was just unlucky. And I think defensively he wasn't amazing, but I think he was good enough. And going forward, he contributed here and there. So I'm gonna give him 6.5.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think 6 fair because people will say, at the end of the day, it's not his fault, but he did score an own goal. So yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, he tried to stop the cross and it just affected him. What must he do? Must he just not block the cross like everyone does?
Nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, really nothing. That was really unfortunate. But on another day, we used by that own goal and we're giving Shaw, who knows, 2 zeros, who knows? Because we have
non-applicable. Then wait there,
we literally saying Tellers should have started. That's why Oli should be fired. Another day. Literally, fine margins in football. This could be the show. That could have been the show. But anyways, we move on to another controversial point. Harry, Captain Maguire, slaphead Maguire. Oh, put my hands up. He scored his goal. I waited my whole life for that. Do I exempt him of his past performances? Nope. Do I still think he's the captain of Manchester United? Nope. But he got his goal. He showed Ollie backed him. He showed why he backed him. Defensively, I thought he was a lot better today. He won a lot of aerial balls. The corners today, actually, he was very good. I think he won majority of our corners, and the header was a bullet header from slab head. So yeah, I can't fault Maguire. So I'm gonna give him a 7. It's a United captain performance then.
Oh, Harry, my boy, Harry,
God.
a beautiful snaphead. Now you know I'm not your biggest fan. You know I prefer the £40 million B-Tech version of the Hisense fridge without wheels. But today, my boy, today you did exactly what captains do, and I still don't believe you're a captain for the future. But you sat them down and you played when it counts. After getting a red card, after having the English manager's head shoved so far up your ass that you have anus pains on the way to training and can't walk properly on the football pitch and concede and get nutmegged by Bournemouth players, by Newcastle players, you proved the haters wrong, my boy. And for that, I'm going to give you an 8. I still don't rate you more than Lindelof.
Yeah, I don't rate you. I mean,
but I give
that PSG game is coming, and I don't look forward to what they're going to do to you. But
yeah, no, Harry, you made me proud today. You're the reason I smiled in that first half. I won't lie.
Yeah. No, I think he played well. I think best game in a while, really good response. I think he wasn't under too much pressure. I don't think Newcastle were that great going forward, to be honest. But he did the simple things, right, which he tends to struggle with. And he was hitting these really good long balls that I haven't seen him do in a very long time. And they were really good for the outlet for Dan James and Rashford. And I wish he'd do that more for Martial and Rashford. So, yeah, and he scored the goal. As Shinny said, he'd been waiting for that goal. Been waiting.
That's the whole reason we paid 80 mil. Was that goal?
Yeah.
That goal cost us 80 million.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give him a 7. He's only got 2. It's 40 million each.
Yeah.
Look, with regards to the long balls, like if he can hit them properly, fine. But I don't want to go back to Mr. Harry Beckenbauer doing 15 Cruyff turns and trying to do everything himself in the defense, dude. If you're not feeling comfortable today and you've missed 2 already, just give it to someone else, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play long balls here.
Yeah. If you're going to be captain of United, you have to have it. I wouldn't even say, because of the standards of drop, I would say 6 out of 10s. But like if you're captain, I would say 7. You need to be putting 7s constantly if you're United captain. So, but you did that today, so fair play, Ollie. Fair play for picking him. I mean, yeah, you literally shut everyone up. I was speechless when they went in. I didn't even know how to feel because I was still angry. I was still pissed. I was like, I didn't want you to play, but you scored. So,
that's the thing. That's the thing. Just very briefly. Can I just say, what I've noticed with Manchester United fans is we seem to love abusing our players. There's nothing wrong with criticizing a player and saying, I don't think he's good enough. But when it gets personal and you start disliking the actual player, it becomes a problem, in my opinion. I think Harry Maguire, look, he's not the most aesthetically pleasing centre-back on the eye. He's not particularly quick. He's not the dashing, leader that Van Dijk is. He's Harry Maguire. He's very different. He's very peculiar. And I think he's kind of a victim of that. It's not very popular to like Harry Maguire unless you live in the UK and you're influenced by the British media. So I think with Harry Maguire, when he scores and when he does well, you should never feel conflicted about it. You can feel conflicted because of the game and how the game played out and the fact that the team sheet made us so conflicted. But you should never be like, oh my God, I don't want to celebrate this goal because Maguire scored. That's nonsense, That's nonsense. Whether Lingard scores, whether Pereira scores, give them credit where it's due. I think that's important. But there'll be some people going, Maguire. If he was just a centimeter to the right when Shaw deflected it, you could have stopped it. And it was just like, bro, shut up. It is what it is. You didn't agree with him starting, but just admit you were wrong when he scored. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents.
And then obviously his partner in crime, Lindelof. Swedish Iceman Lindelof.
Not doing me any
to be honest, yeah, I thought he was. He didn't really do anything special, and I thought that was harsh on Bailly. I don't know how you drop Bailly. Maybe it was a rest, or maybe Oli was like, I'll rest you for PSG because it could. I wouldn't be surprised if Bailly played against PSG, but I did feel hard done by Bailly. But in terms of Lindelof's performance, I thought he was bang average. So yeah, this is 6.
Nah, listen, Biley. Look, I'm not your biggest fan, but this is nothing to do with the fact that I don't like you. I do rate you as a centre back. I really do. But it was 6-1, mate. Okay, it was 6-1. Did Maguire deserve to start today? Maybe not. But in hindsight, yes. Everybody else who got dropped, perfectly fine with it. You cannot lose 6-1 and play the same team. You just can't do it. And was Bailey at fault for every single goal? No, but his lack of positional awareness, as well as the fact that he just was very rusty and hasn't played in a while, contributed to that. Son was having a feast, fam, in that game. And it's just for me, I don't know how you play him. I don't know if there's anyone yelling that Eric Bailly should have started today. I don't know. I don't know if this is the one, Chief. Maybe he should have started against Brighton. Maybe he should have started against other teams, but I don't know if this was the one. I don't think you can justify someone starting after they just lost 6-1. And Harry Maguire, at least he has the captain's armband. So, at least he has that.
Did you give a rating for Lindelof?
Oh, sorry. I just got caught up there. I think I'm gonna go with the 6. He was Mr. Anonymous today. He was under the radar.
Yeah. Before I go to Bailly, let me talk about Lindelof. You didn't see much of him, but that's not always a bad thing with Lindelof. So he had a decent game. He did simple things, and he had a Lindelof type of game. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. it was simple. It was straight to the point, and I agree with the 6. The mini fridge, but I do think Bailly deserves to start today, and I think in my opinion, there's no question that Harry Maguire deserves to be dropped way more than Bailly did, because I feel like, yes, as much as it was 6, Harry Maguire's had chance after chance after chance, but this guy, it was one game. I understand he had to change something. So from that point of view, I can kind of see it. I had to change something because he couldn't play the same team. But I do kind of feel like it's harsh that Maguire starts and Bailly is left out of the cold. So yeah, but then left the team performance. And I feel like on top of that, I feel like Ole trusts these two as much as they have their faults. He's comfortable with Lindelof and Maguire. So I feel like it was inevitable if when you got batted 6, he was always going to go back to that. Like I said in the preview, I said it's going to be Lindelof and I said Lindelof Maguire, right?
Yeah, you said he was going to trust him.
I think it's justified. I mean, these guys got the most clean sheets in Europe at some point last season. And look, I'm not going to bring up that stat too many times in the feud because the past is the past and the present is the present. But if people want to make an argument that Bailly deserves to start over the next few games, fine. That I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm not saying at all that Lindelof and Maguire should start, but not after 6-1, mate. This game had to be a completely new team, and even Maguire was lucky today. Maguire was lucky to score that goal today, because I wouldn't have let him off the hook if he played badly today. I would have been like, he shouldn't have started, Bailly shouldn't have started, Mendy should have been there next to Lindelof, fam.
Yeah.
That 6-1. That's what I was thinking, fam. And when I saw Maguire, I was like, God, no, please have a good game. Please have your best game today, because if you do not, fam, you've ruined my weekend, like,
Probably, yeah. And Ollie was probably dead also. We didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you want to analyze the 6-1 for the game's sake, and you understand and say, because we consider 6 goals, but Bailly didn't have a horrible game. Yes, there was 2 goals where you could say it was fault for, but I understand why it was done. No, I understand why it was done, so I'm not arguing with you there. But I still feel like it's unfair.
It's harsh.
It's so unfair.
It's harsh. Yes, it's harsh. Yeah. I get it, but like, you take what you can get with Manchester United, because they promise you one thing and then they give you another thing, and you have to go, okay, fine. Here's the positives, and you have to just move on with it. It's just one of them things. It worked out. So, I look like a right idiot going, Maguire shouldn't have started today. He bloody messed it up. He had a good game, So I get it. But the thing is, what people don't remember is Harry Maguire is the captain. Should he be the captain? Probably not, but he is. He was the captain going into this weekend. That was never going to change. The captaincy was never getting stripped off him right now. Maybe after the Greece incident, there was a chance it happened, but it didn't, So I get where people are coming from with Bailly, and I do feel sorry for Bailly, but this is not a charity. This is Manchester United, and I completely am okay with the captain not being dropped over another centre-back, even if he had a worse game. You know, what I'm not okay with is him being captain, but he is. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. He will be nowhere near my captain. But yeah, moving on. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back. I said it in the preview. And I said it when he was getting hate. I backed my boy. And one day he will be back. And whatsoever
Maybe
he comes back,
maybe he is the best of all time.
I'm telling
Maybe
you.
he is.
I'm telling you.
Relax.
The right side
Relax.
is locked. You locked it. That Gucci hairband wackadoodle was locked, pocketed by Aaron, and then that goal was just up. You know that. Yeah, my boy is back, flawless. Wan-Bissaka. I'm giving him an 8. Even giving him 8. You're our best defender today.
What's that in the background? Oh, a Wan-Bissaka poster behind Shoni's chair. Oh man, that's a surprise.
I love Wan-Bissaka. I love him. I rate him so much.
Wan-Bissaka, look, I don't know about greatest of all time, but I still do think he's one of the best right backs in the Premier League. I've heard people calling him a flop and saying, Wan-Bissaka.
He's been getting mad.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? This guy was perfect for 8 months. He did nothing wrong for 8 months. He has a bad 3 months, and now he's a flop. Oh, dude, like, our fan base is so toxic. So just for that, you know, Wan-Bissaka, well done. You shut up the haters, and you did exactly what, you know, I praised Luke Shaw for doing. Through all the criticism, through all the negativity, you come out on the other side and you put up a game when Manchester United need you most. You were perfect when we needed you most. You went under the radar when we didn't need you and went on that 3-month run, which is okay. You know, if I'm going to let Rashford off the hook for going under the radar, I'm certainly going to do it with Wan-Bissaka. And you got the goal when it matters, dude. You got the goal when it matters. So 8 out of 10 for me. You know,
Yeah.
This guy has the potential to be the greatest right back of all time. Whether or not he'll live up to that potential, it doesn't matter. Most right backs would take best in the Premier League. Like that title works for most right backs, you know. So.
Yeah. But before Malota goes, I am going to say it's also another thing I want to say about Wan-Bissaka. It's the best time to hit form because he's going to play against PSG, and when Neymar's pocketed by Aaron, I'll be laughing.
Exactly. This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying when people were, and I know we'll get to Rashford in a bit, but when people were criticizing Rashford in that 3-month lockdown period, I was like, some players don't have to play well all the time, bro. They only need to play well when the team needs them, fam. Like sometimes form is about peaking at the right times, not just being at a constant peak. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people don't get that. You know, like how are you gonna go in on the team when we're winning, bro? Like it doesn't matter that he's not playing well because the team's winning. We can afford to carry players if the team's winning. It's only when we're not winning where it becomes an issue because too many players have dipped out of form. You know, but kudos to Wan-Bissaka, man.
I love it.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting battle. Neymar versus Wan-Bissaka. I'd love to see him pocket Neymar. But to be honest, I don't think he had an amazing game. I think he was good, but I don't think he had an amazing game. I feel like defensively it was much improved, but I do feel like it was quarter position here and there. And yeah, for the goal, I have to commend him for that. It came at a very important time, and it was the catalyst for more to come. So I'm going to give him a 7.
I feel like his contribution to the positional awareness, and this goes to every defender, not just Wan-Bissaka, was brilliant today. I think the shape of the team was mwah.
Like I like it when they stay wide. Yeah.
Yeah,
None
you know,
none of this inward sting where the fullbacks come in and play centre back. I hate it.
It's like in player career, right? I know this is high-end Premier League football. It's not FIFA. Relax, I get it, but you know, just bear with me. In player career, you know, you get more rating points for sticking in your position. As soon as you go out of position, the CPU starts deducting points from you. Because what are you doing? Stay in position, fam. And today, like, staying in position was such a crucial thing. This is what I was saying with McTominay. You know, like, I think everyone in that team, as long as they stay in position against teams like Newcastle don't have the creative flair to break you down. So if you stay compact and you force them out of their comfort zone, then you have a better chance of winning. Not only that, but you can hit them on the break as well, which we're perfect at. So, you know, Wan-Bissaka for me today, he wasn't magnificent, but for the circumstances, he was great, in my opinion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think his recovery runs are much better.
Yeah.
I really hope he pockets Neymar, because then I'm done. I'm done. I'm convinced it's great all the time. If he pockets Neymar, I'm done.
The memes, the gene pockets,
and
Wan-Bissaka's face at the top. The memes.
I'll probably live to regret this, but you know, like I said, when you support United, you got to take what you can get. You know,
that's not even a bad L to take on the chin. He got pocketed by one of the best left wingers in the world. Okay, what does that prove? You know, most right backs get pocketed by Neymar. So what are you on about, mate?
Yeah, so we'll have to see. It'll be a great great thing. But we'll talk about it when it comes. Moving into the controversial midfield also, we can start with Fred. I'll give my thoughts last because I'm quite a Fred advocate. So yeah, we'll start with Marks.
I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I'm not Fred's biggest fan when it comes to being a CDM, but when it comes to being a box-to-box, I think I finally figured out the kind of player, at least for my expectations, that I want out of Fred, right? For me, Fred, he's not extremely good at trapping the ball. Most midfielders, aren't, but it is what it is. His passing range is not that great. He can play a short pass here and there, but when he's under the caution, he's under pressure, he's not the ideal player I want on the ball. But he's decent enough. His creativity going forward isn't amazing, but the fact that he puts so much effort in and so much drive compensates for that lack of creativity, because where a Paul Pogba would just lose the ball and slowly walk back to his mark, Fred will run. Fred will get the most. I think there was a crazy stat last season at some point where he had the most interceptions for a midfielder, which is mad, fam, because that shows that this guy's extremely tenacious. So, all in all, good game from Fred. I think I'm going to give him a 7. On another day, would have been my man of the match, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'll have to agree with everything you said. I don't think defensively he was amazing, but I think he ran that first half, to be honest. I thought everything was going through him. And yeah, I thought that midfield wouldn't be the same without him. So
it's Herrera. Yeah, we found the black Herrera. We found Herrera's replacement. We might have cloned him in a lab somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. That's why I always like Fred, because I'm always guaranteed he'll be tenacious. He's a workhorse. Listen, he does the basics right most of the time. And I honestly do think that in terms of replacement for Matic, in my opinion, Fred is the best. And I actually think he could replace Matic in terms when we play like PSGs and things like that, just where we need more mobility. So yeah, I completely agree. I don't think it was Fred's the best game in the United shirt today, but I do think he deserves a 7 as well. I agree.
Yeah, look, what I will say about Fred, right? Fred is the kind of player. And I've been screaming this for years, for years. Maybe not immediately after Fergie left, but even in the Van Gaal era. I don't want big name signings. If we sign players like Fred who are willing to work hard and are willing to compensate in the areas where they don't have the talent and the technical skill, with just being extremely tenacious and being able to look after the ball well, being able to keep their shape well when they don't have the ball, being able to stay switched on and focused, not doing 16 million Cruyff turns in an important game that could get us third, and then you lose the ball and you're there smiling at the camera when the ball goes in. If we can get players like this, I'm happy. I really am. I would rather we had players like him with the right attitude and the right mentality than an influx of world-class on-their-day players. No offense to Pogba, and I'm not just targeting you, Pogba, but I would rather we had him. Because having Bruno Fernandez in the team is great because he's a 10 and that's what he's supposed to do. But imagine we had 11 Brunos. I mean, that sounds great on paper, but imagine we had 11 Brunos all playing badly, all taking risks, all not looking at the... If they played well, yeah, we would win the treble. If every diagonal geometrical ball at a 45-degree angle without looking...
You put 11 Brunos on that field, I'm winning the treble.
It could go really, really well or really, really bad is what I'm saying. It's the same as putting 11 Pogbas. You might get a great diagonal ball or you might get him losing the ball in the edge of the box and smiling at the camera. So I think with just get a consistency.
I don't want to keep going back to Pogba, but I seriously feel like Pogba needs to simplify his game, plays deeper. Because I feel like if he just got the ball and released it, it'd be so much safer. But he tries this thing where he tries to hold up and gets runs from other players, and he loses the ball so many times. It's so annoying. Dude, you do this thing where he tries to...
I think
the typical one.
Like, I don't know what Shoni thinks, but I think that's what makes Pogba. Pogba is one of the best deep midfielders in the world at driving the ball forward. Paul Pogba is at his best when he's trying to move the ball one man from the edge of your half to the edge of the box. I completely agree with that. I think it's the same as when Bruno has bad games and like people are like, oh, Bruno's awful, he needs to simplify his game. No, Bruno Fernandez will keep playing that acute pass that nobody wants to play until it works and it's okay. Because at the end of the day, remember, like Ryan Giggs was a great example of this. Ryan Giggs used to run at a fullback, maybe 11 or 12 times in a game, and you only get past 4 times or 5 times. But if he gets past 4 times and one of them ends up in a goal, that's a good game. You don't need to be so dramatically consistent. I think the problem with Pogba, as we've already established, is because he doesn't have the protection behind him, and it costs us a lot of goals. But I don't think Pogba simplifying his game helps us, because then we've got We've got B-Tech Paul Pogba for 90 million. We might as well just sell him. If we're going to tell Pogba to change who he is and what makes him so special, we might as well just sell him. We might as well just buy another match.
I hear you.
And
but for the position he's playing, I feel like for the position he's playing, I feel like he can be very dangerous. So him in the 8 and driving forward, it's brilliant. He can do all the fancy tricks. But when he's in a low position, he's holding on the ball too long, and consistently he's losing it. It seems to work rarely, in my opinion. Consistently he's losing it. Consistently there's a turnover ball. There's a big problem there. There's a big problem, and
that's what I'm saying. So maybe we just need to sell him and find a player who fits our system. Because telling him to simplify his game, I tell you what, nah. I think Pogba should be like, nah, up yours. I'm gonna go win trophies somewhere else, fam. Nah, Pogba. For me, I don't think. Look, I can see why people are saying that. Obviously, logically, it makes sense that he must simplify his game if he wants to succeed in a Manchester United team. But nah, if I was Paul Pogba, an elite athlete of his level, I wouldn't change my game to fit Manchester United's system. I would try to go somewhere else, to be honest, because that is Paul Pogba. That is Bruno Fernandez. Risk, even if it's on the edge of your own box. Risk. That's what he does so well, in my opinion, when he plays for like France and Juventus. Maybe not as deep, but he's still playing next to Kante in a deep role, if you want to call it that. But, it's just opinion.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know how we got to Pogba. I think we were talking about Fred.
It's because of Fred. It's because of Fred. It's Fred. This is your fault.
I don't know. Yeah, for Pogba, he came on later. We will get there. But let's swiftly moving on. Scott McTominay and maybe I have a Scott McTominay agenda.
Under the radar.
But under the radar also. So I'm just going to give him a flat 5. But Ollie loves him. Ollie, that's another player he just has posters of in his room.
Yeah.
Scott McTominay.
I mean, I still stand by what I said. I think CDM-wise, McTominay is 100% better than Fred. I think Fred is definitely a box-to-box, I think McTominay needs to work on... He needs to just learn the role, because this is high-end Premier League football, and if you've never been a CDM before, obviously your first few attempts as a CDM is not going to go well. That people seem to struggle with that concept. I've heard people say crazy things like, why don't we play Bruno out on the right wing or Van der Beek? And I'm like, wait, so you'll try Bruno in a different position, but this new kid who actually has potential to be something special, you won't give him the time in the role. I'm confused. You know what I mean? Like, people have such double standards, especially Manchester United fans. So I think with McTominay, we just have to be patient and see what happens. If you don't rate him at the moment, I understand. But he was never going to be a good CDM. He was never going to be as good as Matic. The kid's only 23, 24, 22. So for me, I'll give him a 6 because I think it was average. I think if he tried to do anything more than the simple things, we could have definitely lost that game. I mean, the first 10 minutes, our midfield was non-existent. I mean, even Fred wasn't doing much work defensively, which I've always said about Fred. He can run back and get you an interception, but instead of just sitting and waiting for the right moment, he's not your guy, because that's just not Fred's game. And I think with McTominay, the fact that he's willing to sit, I think if he can just learn the other aspects of being a CDM from Matic, perfection. But, he's not there yet. 6.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you were saying earlier in a positional sense. Tim Shaw was saying the same thing earlier, or a few days ago, that in terms of how we are off the ball and how disjointed we are, and saying if we're more in position and if our recovery runs are better, just being in those positions affects the other team. So in that sense, he played a very big part in the game. But besides that, as I said earlier, I feel like he was a bit redundant. I feel like one thing he helped on is that when they were double teaming in the midfield in terms of pressing him and Fred. But besides that, he doesn't really offer us much. So I'm going to give him a 5. And it's weird because I feel like we've seen more of McTominay, I feel like him getting the injury and coming back, he hasn't been the same player. And maybe game time is down to that.
Yeah.
True, but even that we don't see it. I feel like he's playing in the same position, especially today, but we don't see the whole box-to-box thing, getting on the edge of the box, trying to get shots away. It seems to have disappeared. Or maybe it's just instructions. He's been told to sit back, though. Yeah, he's been told to sit back. If McTominay tried to play as a box-to-box today, we're losing that game, fam. Like, I don't get this. I think
even Fred was told to go up, I told.
Look, football is all about opinion. We're fans. But I think if you're being objective and you're being rational, I think some football fans have a bias towards attacking players and don't really spend enough time analyzing defensive play. That's my honest opinion, because I've heard some DMs get disrespected out here, fam. You know,
Kante's
like
getting disrespected now.
everything you're saying. Yeah, Kante's getting disrespected now, but everything you're saying is things people say about Matic. People say Matic doesn't offer us anything going forward. He's a CDM, mate. He's not supposed to offer anything going forward. If you're the best CDM in the world, you can offer things going forward because you're the best in the world. But if you're an average CDM, it's a key word, central, defensive midfielder. Your job isn't to play diagonal balls. Your job isn't to be a box-to-box. If you can do that, great. Welcome to the N'Golo Kante club. But most CDMs can't do that. So their job is to sit in a pivot and maintain defensive shape. And when a centre-back goes out of shape, they drop in and keep the shape. That's what a good CDM does. And on top of that, they also look after the ball. Ever notice how Matic, statistically, is one of the players who keeps one, but it's because he played off sideways passes. That's not bad for a CDM. If Bruno played sideways passes like Lingard and Pereira, that would be bad. We can't have our number 10 playing sideways passes, but a CDM playing sideways passes, it's fine. So with McTominay, I agree that he's not the finished product. I completely agree with the 5 today in a one-off game. But for people to say that he just completely offers us nothing, it's a bit weird because what world are you living in? If you're comparing him to like Kante or some of the best CDMs in the world, well, hardly most CDMs are like those people, so it's a bit weird to me.
Oh, yeah, well, I always think,
people do the same thing with Matt.
Yeah, if you think about the best CDM of all time, but personally, in my opinion, Roy Keane. You did nothing really going forward, but like when you if you attacking Manchester United, that first man you're gonna see there in that defense is Roy Keane, and he's gonna take you out. You will make sure you don't get past, and that's it. That's his job. And
that for me epitomizes a good CDM. Yeah, like just
the thing is, I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like as much as he wasn't perfect before he got the injury, I feel like he'd found himself in a way in that whole box-to-box, making those ferocious runs from deep into attack. And I just feel like we haven't seen it. And the point I was making is that I feel like maybe not having game time has played into that. Because not just today when he's been instructed to do it, in general, he seems to have struggled or dropped off from it.
That wasn't a direct response to you. I was just talking about the Manchester United fan base at large, because everything you've said about McTominay, some people say about Matic. I know you obviously don't believe that, but that's crazy to me. Like that people think Matic offers us nothing and he's just a crap player because he's slow and takes 3 or 4 touches on the ball. Like, it's not that black and white, you know what I mean? But yeah, I agree that McTominay's nowhere near the player we need for Manchester United. So I'm not against that, you know. If you think McTominay's not good enough, welcome to football. It's your opinion.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, what happened to that player we saw against Arsenal last year? The player who basically ran that game.
McTominay's he suffers from the same syndrome as Rashford. He's a passion merchant who's a flair player. And I think the fact that he's not playing as a box-to-box or traditional box-to-box at the moment definitely isn't playing into his hands. As I've always said, and I'll keep saying this, even though I sound like a broken record player and somebody at home listening wants to pull out their hair right now, he's learning a new role in one of the hardest leagues in the world. It's not an overnight job. He's never going to do it in 3 or 4 games. Like, that's all I can say to defend McTominay, you know, and it's not even me defending him. It's me giving you a reason as to why he's not playing well. Forget the fitness, forget the injury. He's not playing in the same role he was a few months ago, and he's trying to live up to the expectations of Nemanja Matic, because that's who we compare him to. When Matic is missing, we always compare the CDM who's there in his place with Matic. So obviously, he's not going to live up to those expectations, and I think that's the biggest reason why McTominay is fading at the moment, you know. And then there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to compare him to Matic, you do you, bro. You know, like I'm not pro McTominay. I'm just trying to explain and give a fair side and play devil's advocate as to why he might not be playing that well and why we should be patient, you know. But, you know, some people think Fred is better anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I think.
Yeah, well, speaking about attacking players, and you know, we are getting in that position of the world. But the main man himself, my captain, the guy who wears this crest like no man, I can't, like, since probably Roy Keane, but Bruno Fernandez. My goodness, this man is like I don't want to say to disrespect Audi, but this man is keeping this guy in that job. If we don't have Bruno, it's curtains. Just, you know, might as well right off the rest of the season. Without Bruno, it's curtains, because this man, he missed the penalty, but I still knew, even after he missed the penalty, I wasn't gonna moan. I was like, you know, he was bound to miss. I wouldn't take him off penalties. He's still our penalty taker, but he's going to do something. Bruno will win us a game. He always wins us the game. And he did it. He got a goal that was disallowed because of Mato's offside. His legit goal was just, oh my God. Brilliant, world class. Proper. He took initiative himself. His football IQ is ridiculous. I can't fault him for that. His assist to Marcus Rashford, insane. Bruno, he will never stop running for that badge. He even came out publicly saying there's no problem. Don't ever use my name. Don't use my coach's name. Don't use my teammate's name to make bad stories about us because there's nothing wrong. He is the actual captain of Manchester United. He's my man of the match. He is Mr. United. I'm giving him 9 out of 10. I would have given him a 10, but I won't lie. I'll be honest and say if I told you I was not salty about him missing the penalty, because I am. My fantasy league is hurting a little bit, but
Someone's complaining about his
FPL. You did your thing, Bruno. Yeah,
Listen,
9 out of 10. He's just. I love him.
I think my glasses need a wipe now because I don't know. For a second, it looks like I was watching Eric Cantona.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think I need to wipe my glasses because for a sec, it looked like I was watching Eric Cantona. Bruno Fernandez. Oh my God. If Marcus Rashford didn't get 2 assists in a goal, 10 out of 10 for Bruno Fernandez, but it's difficult. I'm torn between the player I love and the player I've grown to love. Oh my God. He gets it. He gets what this is about. He gets what this is about. So does Marcus Rashford, actually, but it's more impressive for a foreign player. He gets it. He understands it. When we lose, he feels our pain. When we win, he celebrates and rejoices in the same way that we do. And yes, he's a professional footballer, but you can tell he gets it, fam. He gets it.
He cares.
He gets it. Oh my God, he could be out on open heart surgery, and if Manchester United conceded a goal, he'd get off that table, stitches and everything. He'd run to the pitch to try to say, he gets it. You got to be willing to die for the 3 points, and Bruno Fernandes is willing to die for the 3 points. You know what, Marcus Rashford? Screw you. I'm always living up your backside. Bruno Fernandes, man of the match, 10 out of 10. He just gets it. I don't know what else to say, but he gets it. Yeah. And unlike Fred, no offense, Fred, but we are comparing you to an Eric Cantona-like player, so don't take this as an insult. Unlike Fred, not only does he get it, but he's got one of the most creative minds in football. The rival fans are sleeping.
I honestly said it. I've said it in the Premier League preview. Bruno Fernandes has the potential, and in my opinion, is going to win Premier League Player of the Year. He could. And look, I'm Kevin De Bruyne's biggest advocate, but Kevin, you better watch behind you, fam. If this is an F1 race, Bruno Fernandes has got the DRS on you, fam. He's within 1 second. He's got the DRS on you, he's got the slipstream, and he's on the soft tires, fam. So you know them right there. You better watch out, fam. Because you might not be racing the for long. And I don't know what James Rodriguez has to say about that, but this is a Manchester United fan channel, so he gets it. I'm done. I'm done talking.
James was nice. He's still young blood. He was nice. I think creativity-wise, he's up there with De Bruyne, to be honest. As much as maybe De Bruyne has proven himself more, but I think he's definitely up there. I think he had a really good game. I don't think he started off like that. I think, yes, he was still central to everything, and he was still the pivot in the first half. But I don't think he had many options, and there wasn't much outlets for him, so it kind of hindered him. But he stuck in and kept going. The penalty, I have to say, I think it's the worst penalty he's taken. I mean, pundits always say, low to the middle, not much power. Those are the type of penalties to keep us safe, and it's very uncharacteristic for him. But it's much like Bruno Fernandes. He kept his head up. He scored a goal.
That's the thing. He kept it up. He
the
didn't
pitch
feel
could
like,
be made with glass, and there could be a law against wearing football boots. And Bruno Fernandes would still keep running until he gets that ball into the back of the net. Fine.
I enjoyed the assist more, to be honest. I think the goal was amazing, but I think that the pass to Rashford was just...
The thing, it wasn't just the goal. That's the thing. Bruno. I need to stop. That's
all. I just want quick on the Spurs game. That's why I was even more pissed that we took off Bruno, because whenever Bruno's on that pitch, I feel like something can happen. It's not over. As long as that man is on the pitch, something can happen, and he will do something. So Bruno Fernandes. What a special player. I'm glad we have him. I won't even lie. I would hate to be a rival fan looking at Bruno Fernandez.
Portuguese Eric. No.
Salt is just it's brilliant.
Yeah,
We should have given him the numbers of bloody Madonna.
Yeah.
But anyway.
He should be the number. Yeah, he is the captain. He's the number 7. He's Manchester United. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruno's now. Miloto, you gave him a rating?
Do we even need to ask? If you don't give him a high 9 or 10, what are you doing? Who are you watching?
Nah, mate, I'm giving him an 8.5.
Oh. I can't even get mad at you because I'm in such a good mood. You know? Nothing you say can affect the mood I'm in right now.
Is he a man of the match or is someone else man of the match?
No.
Yeah, I think Rashford has something to say about that. But,
yeah, you know. I was making sure. But, you know, yeah. Bruno for me, man of the match. I think that's back to back man of the match awards for Bruno Fernandez. So yeah, it is what it is. Moving forward.
Wait, before we move on, let me make sure this is on properly, okay? Bruno Fernandez has only experienced defeat in the Premier League twice. He's been here for nearly 8 months. He's experienced defeat twice, you know. And in one of those games, he actually scored. He doesn't know what losing is. Fam. Oh my God. What a play. We have an absolute baller on our hands. I don't usually lube up any player this much. But Bruno, we've known him for a long time.
Yeah,
but damn, what a player.
Yeah, we're special player. And Bruno is all of that we say to describe him. We can only say the next person. The only best way to describe him is the grandfather of Manchester United. Juan Mata. I won't lie to you guys. He's growing on me. I want him to start every game from now on until, you know, the players are back and things are running back to normal. I think he deserves to it. Like I said, it was him, Fred, and Van der Beek that are knocking on the door to start. So, yeah, I'm so impressed with Mata. Experience, yeah, he doesn't have the legs. But when he's with Bruno, when he's with Pogba, when he's with Van der Beek, Rashford, and Martial, my goodness, magic happens. The football IQ is ridiculous. You never lose that. And that's what I see in Van der Beek, actually. I told my dad today that I see a young prime Juan Mata in Van der Beek. I think that's what it is. I think he's got the same brain as Juan Mata, and I think he's just got the legs now. That thing, Mata doesn't have the legs, obviously, but he's got the same brain as Van der Beek. So I think they're very similar players. And but with regards to Mata, it was great today. Creative, amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 7. I think he deserves to start against PSG for now.
Oh yeah, Mata, listen, I know this is about you, mate, but let me just get this out of the way so I can give you the proper appreciation you deserve. Oh yeah, Van der Beek. Listen, yeah, I think people are underestimating Van der Beek. I hear a lot of things about Van der Beek being a box-to-box player, about Van der Beek being proven at the highest level, but I never actually hear what he's actually good at. And technically, as a footballer, and his creativity, I'm not going to say anything yet because we haven't seen enough of him, but I think this guy could be one of the most underrated midfielders in the world, in world football, because if he slots into that team, and, you know, God forbid, touch wood, but something were to happen to Bruno, and you slot him into that team, I don't think much changes. You know, obviously he's very different to Bruno Fernandez, but I think we've got a ball on our hands. But, you know, this is about Mata, so, you know, Mata, good to see you out the bingo hall, mate. You know, like I said about Mata 8 or 9 months ago, fam. Listen, fam, if you can get your gown off, you can shave your grey beard or dye it or whatever. You can get yourself out the bingo hall, do a couple of laps before you come onto the field. As long as you're playing next to Bruno, Pogba, it doesn't matter that you don't have a Yoda face. It doesn't matter because the other areas of the pitch can compensate for you. So Juan Mata, it's always the same. I don't think he's good enough for this level, but if he's going to play with the likes of Bruno and the likes of Pogba, and he's going to play in these once-off games, then cool, I'm fine with it, you know. Better than some of the other options. I would have loved to see Lingard involved today because I thought we were kind of solidifying his future at the club and bringing him back into the thick of things, but it's okay. I like Mata more than Lingard anyways. So for me, 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I'll have to agree. I think he probably does struggle a little. Or not struggle, but he's not as good when he's playing with the Lingards of this world. But I do think he links up very well with the Pogbas and the Brunos. And, you know, he's dangerous. He's always a threat. Yeah. He's always a threat. And he's very mobile. He's all over the place. And his creativity is still up there. Yes, I do prefer Greenwood because I do prefer the pacey, natural wingers. But he always gives him a shift, and I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think he's more of a natural winger than Greenwood is. That's just my honest opinion. That's not a disrespect to Greenwood.
I don't
think
know.
Greenwood,
I feel like
Greenwood is more, for me, I still believe Greenwood is more of a young striker. Yeah. But yeah.
I think Greenwood can grow into that, but I feel like Mata drops into the midfield too much. And I prefer someone who's going to stick out there and play as a winger.
Yeah, but he's got the qualities of a natural right winger. I don't think Greenwood has the qualities of a natural right winger. Greenwood might be the modern fizzy football, as Hugh Wizzy calls it, right winger, who's got a lot of pace and can get past a man. But classic right wingers don't need pace. They don't need to get past the man. They whip it in. You want an example?
I don't think you see that much.
You want an example?
You don't really see that much anymore.
Yeah, Beckham, fam. Go back and watch those clips of Beckham. You'll never see Beckham dribbling past the player. But I tell you what you will see, Beckham whipping it in. I can't get past you. I'm just going to go around you. If I can't go around you, I'm going to go over you, fam, without even running past you, fam. I'm just going to whip it in, fam. And you just see Rooney on the end of it. So I feel like
nowadays, as much as they do play kind of like wingers and they stick to the wing, I feel like nowadays a lot you kind of see three strikers and the fullbacks coming up and doing more of the crossing.
Yeah, 100%. The wingers is evolving, I mean, the fact that someone Ronaldo is classified as one of the best wingers of the world says it all. I'm not saying Ronaldo isn't a natural winger, but I think he's more of a goal scorer. But he's had his whole career on the wing.
Now he's definitely a striker.
His generation. Yeah, now he's definitely a striker. But I'm just saying, Ronaldo, the Ronaldo-esque type players was really the start of the evolution of the right winger, in my opinion. Because after him came people like Eden Hazard and etc. Players who don't rely on whipping the ball in and creating chances, but rather put themselves in situations where they directly benefit from their own chances. You know what I mean? Like they create their own chances, if that makes sense. Even the way Rashford plays, he's always trying to cut in and do his own thing.
Someone say the same about Greenwood also. That when you see Greenwood do the right step over, hit it to his left.
Exactly. That's why I don't classify him as a natural right winger. He might have the qualities, but I don't think he has the characteristics to match those qualities. I don't think Greenwood's looking to create chances for other people. I think he just wants to be the main man himself. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when we have two right wingers playing like that, then it becomes a problem. Yeah. But anyways.
Marcus Rashford, actually. Dr. MBE Sir Marcus Rashford, feeding the children off the field, gets his degrees off the field, making the government his bitch, basically, and making players his bitch. This is the Marcus Rashford I won't lie. We know he's not the best down the middle, but today I thought he was fantastic. I won't lie. I thought he was really good down the middle. I thought that he looked a lot dangerous. I don't think he's as smart as Martial or as flair as Martial, but he definitely when you need him, okay.
Martial.
Rashford. No.
First of all, actually no. I'll let you finish before I say.
I was just gonna say when we needed Rashford, he was there. I think he was our outlet a lot today. So I'm gonna give Rashford what did I give Bruno? I gave Bruno a 9. Yeah, so I'm going to give Rashford an 8.
Yeah, well, Rashford, I'm giving you a 9.5, Sam. The only reason you're not getting a 10 is because Bruno got a 10. And we shall not compare thee to the heavenly father that is Bruno Fernandez. But anyways, I think the comparisons to Martial are childish. Martial is obviously more technical than Rashford is, but Rashford's more flair than Martial is, in my opinion. Martial is not just going to whip out individual brilliance when he's not in form. Rashford will. That's what a flair player is by definition. They're very hot and cold, and they generally come hot at the right times. I think Marcus Rashford is... we need more of this in footballers, I know it's fashionable to sneak a girlfriend into your hotel room during quarantine. I know it's fashionable to crash your Range Rover and go out on a party with the boys. I know it's fashionable to get a speeding ticket and then win a treble the very next day. Yeah, that's great, yeah? But how about actually being a positive contributor in the world and still being a great footballer? What happened to that? What happened to the intellectual people, not just amongst football fans, but in the actual game itself? Marcus Rashford, you're an amazing human being, a beautiful human being, and you're also a beautiful footballer. And for that, I thank you. The fact that I get to watch you, I should be thanking him every weekend. You're in the presence of greatness.
Yeah. Sometimes not so much me because I want to pull my hair out on some of the decisions. So yeah, but today I can't vote Marcus Rashford.
In my opinion, Bruno can my assistance. Bruno can relax.
He's giving Bruno.
Today, Rashford's my man of the match. I think what impresses me the most is that he played in this very position last season at Newcastle, and he was horrible. But today, he looked like a striker. He looked so much better. And he looked more like Werner-esque. I don't know if anyone liked the comparison. But he looks Werner-esque, Vardy-esque, and I really enjoyed how he played. I think those balls over the top, he was making runs. He was very effective with it. He was driving at players. He scored. He assisted, and I really enjoyed watching him. I was kidding comparing him to Martial, of course, but I think it was a massive improvement through the middle. And I'm gonna give him a 9, man of the match.
But like, yeah, I mean, today is just a one-off game. But when people say Marcus Rashford can't play striker, I'm like, that's not true. He might not be good in the striker position.
He
but
was a
can.
striker when he came.
Yeah, he was a striker when he came here.
It's like Greenwood. Like when Greenwood first came, he was
just
a striker, but now he just on him
Yeah.
on the wing.
like he definitely can play number 9. You know, like people are sleeping on my boy. He's not the best number 9. Don't get me wrong. You know, and he's nowhere near Martial, but can play there if he needs to.
I think what he struggled with is the whole back to goal kind of thing, the whole hold-up thing. He can't do that, but Martial can. But he's going to play balls over the top.
Yeah, he
He's
can't
gonna play
do
balls
that, and
over the top,
that's
nothing
my.
to
That's, yeah, when Lingard's behind you, it's very difficult to score goals when Lingard's behind you. I've been saying this about Harry Kane all the time. You put Harry Kane in a team with Lingard and Pereira on the wing, fam. He's not scoring as many goals because I don't care how much of a complete striker you think Harry Kane is. His hold-up play is not rescuing the crap that is Lingard and Pereira last season. So, you know, I don't know why I brought Harry Kane into this, but anyways, you can tell who's got an agenda.
Kane from
Marcus Rashford
Yeah.
might not be good with his back to goal, but hardly. Actually, I mean, I guess the world's best strikers are good with the back to goal, but I'm not saying he's one of the world's best strikers. That's the thing. That's the thing, though. I think people are comparing him to the Harry Kanes, the Martials of this world, and that's not who you should be comparing him. You should be comparing him to middle-level strikers who sometimes play there, because that's what Marcus Rashford is. He sometimes plays as a striker. He's not actually a striker.
But I think when the comparison happened was the whole idea, is he a striker or not? And a lot of United legends were pushing the agenda of him being a striker. I think he's definitely a left winger. I think we find his position there. He's really good there.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, but people say the same thing about Martial, so I tend to not listen to a lot of football fans. I mean, I heard someone say Martial's best position is left wing, but the guy scored 20 goals as a striker. What?
Look, I can understand the argument. I can, but I do prefer him in striker because of the numbers and what I've seen him do at hold up. But I can understand why people say he might be better left wing because he's ball control out.
His dribbling is insane also. His dribbling.
Yeah, but it's one of them things, right? If you're saying Marcus Rashford is not the best striker, fine. But to say he can't play striker because you think he's a left and play there, he's just not a traditional striker and he should be played on the left. I'm fine with that. Same with Martial. People say his better position is left wing, therefore he can't be a striker. And it's like, you're wrong though. Factually, you're wrong. He scored 20 goals as a striker. So you might think he's better in the left wing, but don't then denounce the fact that he can actually do a job as a striker. Actually, more than a job. He scores more than probably your favorite striker, unless your favorite striker is Lewandowski or one of those dons, you know. So, you know, it's just one of them things, you know, where football fans, they don't word things correctly, and when you call them out on it, they get very defensive and they don't even listen to what you're saying. They just attack you. Yeah, but he's a left winger. I didn't say he's not a left winger. I just said he can play striker if he needs to. I never said he's not a left winger. Obviously, Marcus Rashford is a left winger, you know. That's all I was saying, you know. But yeah, great game to me.
But I guess we can give player ratings quick on the subs, Pogba, Van der Beek, and is there anyone else? Oh, Matic.
Yeah.
Didn't do much.
Well, Matic, I'll give average 6 because he didn't do much. Pogba, also 6. I was a bit disappointed from the impact Pogba had. Van der Beek, I'm giving a 7 though. I thought he let it up as soon as he came on, and he needs to start. I don't know when, I don't know how, but he needs to start.
I agree with everything you said, so I'm not going to repeat the ratings. Basically what Shawnee said, 6, 6, 7. But with Van der Beek, I think the reason why Van der Beek hasn't started, and I actually commend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for this, because it's an unpopular thing to do, and it's a thing that puts you really on the line. Do you really want to play a new signing in a difficult period like this when we have such a negative start and all the negative things that are happening in our fan base? I don't think so. I like the way he's protecting Van der Beek, and he's not exclusively just keeping him out the team like Jose used to do. Remember how frustrating it was when Mkhitaryan took 6 years to start, or just appear for Manchester United? I like the fact that he's kind of finding some sort of middle ground where it's like, listen, I'm not going to completely not play you. I'm going to bring you on to try and make an impact. But in terms of starting, I want to find the right time, because the team's in a very volatile at the moment. And I don't know. I think it's one of those things that's down to your own opinion, but you can't shoot Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and be Ole out just because he didn't start Van der Beek. I find that very weird. I can completely see why he hasn't started Van der Beek, and I think only games. Come on, people. It's only been 4 games, bro. People are acting like this guy started in 6 months.
Yeah, no. I think I'm lagging a bit, so I'm sorry about that. But I agree. I understand what you're saying. But personally, I want him to start. I think we can get more out of the partnership of Van der Beek and Bruno Fernandez. And personally, I want Pogba to be dropped. Honestly, I just think that's how we're supposed to move forward. I know how talented Pogba is, but I just feel like it doesn't work at this club. And yeah, I think Van der Beek showed a good showing. I'm going to give him 7, I guess. And then Pogba, he made an impact. He wasn't there for long. He made a bit of a difference. We were more fluent when he came on. And yeah, Matic came on late, didn't really show much. So I'll give them both a 6.
Oh my god, I just realized I completely forgot the player. Goodness. And I forgot Daniel James. Because I always think Rashford's lifting us.
I also forgot to. Wait, but before we go to Daniel James, I just want to say quickly with Van der Beek, again, there's nothing wrong if you prefer Van der Beek starting. But what I'm against is the people crucifying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for not starting the guy when there's actually clearly a reason why. It's not like the Maguire situation where we're like, everyone's like, drop this guy. He's not dropping the guy. With Van der Beek, I can see it, I'm not an advocate for Van der Beek not starting. I'm just playing the devil's advocate, because it is a bit weird to throw a player into a situation. But yeah, Dan James.
Yeah, to Dan James, I apologize. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. But a Dan James,
he plays well.
Dan James 7 is a Rashford 5.
Yeah.
I thought he played well. I thought he was possibly our number 1 outlet, to be honest. Okay, maybe Rashford. But I felt like he wasn't running into the channel or running into the corner like he normally does. He was running at players and taking on players and being productive, and his passes weren't so wasteful. And I like what I saw. He looked like more the Dan James we see at Wales than the one we've seen at United. And I've always said I think he's good on the left. I think he showed that. And yeah, I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, I think with Dan James, it was one of the best performances in a long, long time for Dan James. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully he can improve. And that's
August.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Maybe since the Man City game.
Not long till we see him running down the Stretford End celebrating like he's won the bloody Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens with Dan James. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, manager rating. Tricky one. Because I won't lie to you, I was going to leave Ole to dry out there if that game didn't go away, and that was our lineup. He played the lineup. I didn't agree with a lot of it. It didn't work out. Oof. So this is probably the hardest rating I've ever had to give Ole. But I'm gonna give him a 7 because he got at the end of the day he got his job done. All his rest paid off, but I was still not happy with everything. So yeah.
Well, football is a game of results. The result was 4-1. That's just just putting that out there. But that's not the basis of my argument. The basis of my argument for justifying this rating I'm about to give him. I'm going to give him an 8, by the way. Just to put it out there. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what we've been asking for him for a long time is to prove that he has a ruthless side. And he's not just this nice guy who's scared to drop people. He did that today. He did that. And like I said, was it the team I wanted? No. But was it a team that I preferred over the team that got battered 6-1 by Spurs? You bet your ass you did. I would much rather have Dan James. I would much rather have McTominay. I would much rather have Fred than the same old crap that's been letting us down. It is what it is, isn't it? Now, I don't think Pogba should be dropped indefinitely. Obviously, that's a radicalist mindset. But I like this approach from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if he can do this more often, I think he's going to win me over a lot more than he already did by finishing 3rd. Like, he needs to start playing these players more in Carabao Cup games now and FA Cup games, and not this nonsense of playing the same strongest 11 every single game in every single tournament, getting shocked when it goes wrong and it goes south. So, for me it's an 8 because Fam, if he put out the same team against Spurs today, oh my God, I was gonna lose it, blood. Today, at first glance, I was frustrated, but then as I looked at it, I just got very confused. It was confusion, not just anger. It was confusion because, again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does this weird thing where he contradicts himself. He's gonna rest players for the big game. Okay, then why not play the players that actually played against Luton Town? Why play these guys who haven't played since last season? It doesn't make sense. It worked out. So whatever, Ole. You got out of jail. Free card. Okay.
I'll literally have to reserve my final decision of Ollie. I'll just have to take it game by game. But I'll say, to summarize it, Ollie, you live another day. You live another day.
Live another day. I think it worked. I think I agree with Marcus and I'll give him an 8. It worked. If it didn't work, the fan base can have him because then for picking that team, like what we're doing. So because it works, I think he deserves an 8. I mean, he went for players he knew would give a shift. He went for players he knew would play for the badge. And yeah, it worked out. I wasn't happy with the substitute of Fred. I wasn't happy with him. I forgot he put on, but taking out Fred instead of McTominay, it made my blood boil.
Yeah,
I think McTominay should have gone up.
I told you.
Because what was McTominay doing? Yeah. But hey, it worked once again. And we won 4-1. So 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And just to finish off, Ollie, you've got some big games coming up. Big decisions still need to be made. What are you going to do for the PSG game? What do we think we're going to do for the PSG game? Obviously, previews and stuff will be coming. Marcus will be doing his individual videos as well. So just, keep an eye out on that. It has been a long show.
Let me just say, on a note to end off. Liverpool conceded 7 goals against Villa. They conceded 2 goals today against Everton. Relax. It's not that bad. We're only 4 games into the season. Liverpool aren't putting Van Dijk on a bloody cross and crucifying him because they conceded 7 goals. It's not the end of the world. United fans have this bad habit of overreacting and being over-sensationalist since the Fergie days. I get that. But people were overreacting even before the 6-1. The negativity going into that Spurs game, and some people would say it was justified. It doesn't help though, whether you were justified or not, whether your negativity was justified or not, it doesn't help. Abusing Harry Maguire, abusing Luke Shaw doesn't help the situation. So really what I'm saying is football is a very beautiful game, but if you let the emotions get to you too much, it can become a very unhealthy game. And if you're a person who insists on being Ollie out, have fun being miserable because this guy's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's number 1. Number 2, if you really think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's out of his depth, then how about you start focusing your energy on the people who hired him and not the guy who won 4-1 today and finished 3rd, by the way, and had the 3rd most clean sheets in Europe and had a better defense than Lampard, who spent more money than you possibly can in FIFA. So I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. Actually, that's the point. Don't let this blind you. Glazes out. If any of you guys have a chance to crack them over the head, crack them. Same time. You see them, you clock them, finish the job, take one for the team. I condone it. Yeah, but
we'll come visit you in jail.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll come visit you. Just remember,
we'll give you candy
for the cause.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get the statue outside of Old Trafford next to Fergie. Next to Fergie's statue, we'll have you. Just crack them over the head once. Or if you find a person,
we'll even change the name of the Stretford into your name if you can put the Glazer's head on a stick.
Exactly, once. Or just if you can find billionaires to buy it from us also. But either one, if you want to go violent, non-violent. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, the Glazers, we know what it is. Edward will know what it is. But it's been a long show. It's been a pretty good show. I enjoyed it a lot. I think, I'm looking forward to the PSG preview. It's a lot better than we won. So we can go into it a little bit positive. Especially Wan-Bissaka, positives. Wan-Bissaka performed, Rashford performed, Maguire performed, De Gea performed. So yeah, lots of good performances. Bruno is just Bruno. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video and you are new, yeah.
Now I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna start having Mbappe versus Maguire nightmare from tonight.
Yeah, we can start the nightmares today. We'll deal with it when we get there, because let's just enjoy what we can for now. We'll deal with PSG when we get there. But yeah, like I said, if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, please do smash the subscribe button, like the video. Also, comment down below just your general thoughts. What do you think of Ollie? Do you think he's going to actually end up surviving? You don't think he's going to survive? Does this change whether you're only in or only out? You know, specific performances, you know, player ratings, let us know all down below. We will reply. And yeah, from Marcus, myself, and Maloto, we will check you in the next one.